Ladies and gentlemen of the old world, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Dark Age Rush versus Caradoc here on the Glade of the Ever Queen, Grand Cathay versus Vampire Counts. And normally when you see factions play against Vampire Counts, they're very hesitant to bring range units. It's going to be kind of a monster mash or kind of grindier matchups in that way. But it looks like Dark Age Rush not going to be terribly afraid here, coming in with the dreaded quad Nan-Gau Grenadier. Now, if these things can avoid being tied down by Fellbats and various harass pieces, they can for sure melt zombies and skeletons. I'm actually uber curious to see if it's going to work, because it's a hard strategy to pull off. Aside from that, we have Great Longma Riders and a Dragon-Blooded Shugengen Lord here, who's going to be using the Dragon's Breath to clear out chaff units. And Great Longma Riders, in theory, should trade okay into some of the scary Vampire Flyers. Like them and Vargeist would probably have an evenish fight for their cost. Really nice Dragon's Breath, though, by Dark Age there. That was incredibly clean. Two Peasant Horsemen as well, but I also like the Vanguard coming up here from Caradoc. I think that's a nice play, just getting the objective quickly and, trying to put Cathay back on points. Now, we do have Manfred von Baldstein here, and he is going to be rocking the Raised Dead, Invocation, and Purple Sun. I've always been more of a fan of Winds of Death myself, but, Overcasted Winds of Death is like 28 Winds of Magic or something, isn't it? So I guess Purple Sun's a little bit cheaper and allows you to do more. Manfred does have his Sword of Unholy Power, which is really good. Essentially, if he's in combat, the Vampire Counts can get infinite Winds of Magic. We got two White Kings, I think, or is it just one? Wow, that's what are we in the Twilight Zone? It's only one White King? There must be another character somewhere. White Kings are just insanely good. I think they're the strongest unit of the roster. Corpse Guards, and okay, there's a second White King with Scabscraith back there. So Scabscraith is basically going to bring the Nan-Gau Grenadiers down to like 20% HP. It doesn't kill a lot of models, but it does HP damage, and then you just like use anything like a Stiff Breeze and you're able to take them down. But yeah, Cathay's whole game plan is using a vastly superior air force with the Longmas and the Empress's Crowmen to fend off the vampiric flying threats and go from there. Flying on the side here, it is going to be the old Dragon-Blooded Shugengen Lord, and there are going to be some Spears as well as Jade Warriors advancing up. Harmony is here. We do have the big old Harmony, so it's going to be 4, 4, and 4 for a stat line increase, which is pretty good. Crowmen's hitting above as well. And the Vampire Counts are being very, very chill here. I'm surprised they're not advancing in yet. Maybe the range units have given them a little bit of pause. And we do see the dreaded pencil formations. Yes, there they come. So pencil formations were popularized in Warhammer 2. There was a couple high-level Vampire Count players that basically were like, our zombies suck so badly, so we're going to give you very low frontage so they don't take as much damage, because the damage they give out anyway sucks. So that's kind of the idea there. And it's just like a tar-pitting strategy. So, that's what they're doing, and they're going to be moving up. And I'm curious how it will affect the efficacy of the Nan-Gau Grenadiers. Formations do matter in this game, how things are deployed. Doggies waiting in the wings, double dire wolves back there, and Caradoc is just calling in cavalry. Okay. I thought he would call in like 4. Yeah, you can see, oh god, that ability is so cracked. Scabscraith is insanely good. He's able to nail those guys. Fire Rain Rockets being called in by Dark Age Rush on the back, so there it is, and it is going to be shooting downtown. No, it's actually a cannon. Okay, that makes more sense. So he's like really breaking a lot of the taboos against vampires, like bringing artillery and range units, and the grenades should be able to connect here in a moment. So we are going to see the zombies moving up. The Nan-Gau Grenadier is going to be throwing, and Fire Breath in the back as well. And zombies versus grenades. Yes, World War Z, should have tried that. And immediately one zombie unit, which is only 100 gold, mind you, is taken down pretty low. But the other Nan-Gau Grenadier is going to be fleeing. They're still at full model count, which is hilarious. So if they do rally, they're going to be able to be effective. Manfred and his bald head running away in fear here as he is being chased down by the Dragon-Blooded Lord as well as the Longma Riders. A Vargeist call out, you would need maybe like a Vargeist and a Fellbat, and you'd be able to win that fight. Aside from that, though, it's going to be very tough for Grand Cathay to deal with the White Kings. White Kings are one of the biggest issues that Grand Cathay has here. The Celestial Lion is a call-in that you could use. I'm curious if Dark Age Rush is going to do that. We do see another great Longma Rider coming in here. Okay. So he's just going to be using the face-to-foot style against the White Kings, basically. Just the Kung Pao, just letting them punch you in the face till they run out of steam. But the grenades are firing off on multiple fronts. Skeleton Warriors here getting melted down to the point where they're probably going to be crumbling here soon. So that's pretty cost-effective. And the other grenades, I think 2 of them have been tar-pitted. A little bit of awkward positioning from Dark Age. He definitely should move those things back. Zombies here are starting to crumble. Cannons are shooting into the Cryptors, which is a brilliant choice because that is the answer against the Cathay armor. So taking those down will make the Jade Warriors into absolute Giga Chads. Meanwhile, elsewhere on the map, where's the Manfredo fight? I know there was some Benny Hill circus back here. We do see this. And the Vargeist do get called in, but man, look at that. The Longma's in tandem with the Dragon-Blooded Lord winning that fight. Manfred is trying to help a little bit, but look at the domination. I suspect that the Longmas got their charge off. That's what happened. So the Longma Riders were able to get their charge bonus of 75, where the Vargeist probably just got charged as soon as they were called in. So I think Dark Age just out-microed him back there and was able to get the jump. Nasty stuff, though. Look at Longma's looking pretty good, huh? Not bad at all. Cathay, however, though, is getting folded a little bit on Objective 1, and the Undead are going to be surging forth. A couple bombers are going to be on their way back in, and the Cathay battle lines are holding. The Jade Warriors, maintaining their ranks where they can. Back here, it looks like Longbows and some Jade Lancers were able to clean up, no, just peasants, clean up some of the doggies, but Caradoc here with a nice play is able to get the dogs on top of the Nan-Gau Grenadiers. Heaven's Flash activated, so that is this ability. I always forget they have this, but not bad, actually. Does lower their stats pretty heavily, and then if you have other units... So the idea, I guess, with Heaven's Flash is you debuff the unit attacking you, and then you call in your cavalry to really hammer down the debuffed unit, which is kind of a cool strategy, honestly. I don't hate it. Flying in the sky, the Great Long Marauder is going to be coming across, needing to stabilize this point. Cryptors are hit with the Invocation, and the Long Marauder is going to be sweeping in the back while the cannons continue singing into the Cryptors. Jade Lancers getting a big charge right there, ladies and gentlemen, and that is going to be that. All right, so... looking pretty good for Cathay. I mean, Cathay does have the objectives. Vampires are pushing, though. The 2 White Kings are going to be a problem over the course of a long game. Manfred still in okay shape. Dropping zombie summons on top of the grenades is a good call. Peasants coming in to try and clean them, but the Nan-Gau Grenadiers not going to be having a great time there. Black Knights looking to find an opportunity. Unfortunately for them, they probably will lose to Long Riders pretty badly. But if they can get on top of the Grenadiers or some of the infantry with rear charges, that's going to be their best bet right now. So macro look, Objective 3 for Cathay, and Objective 1 is coming back to the Dragon Emperor's Chosen right now. As another cannonball shot shoots into the Black Knights there, killing a couple models, and we do see Long Riders going after them, and yeah, they'll win that fight. They have 110 armor, and the Black Knights just aren't really good at punching through monstrous or anything that isn't infantry size. So it's going to be a grindy fight, but eventually they probably will win this. Nan-Gau grenades going down. Very cool to see the Grenadiers being used effectively. I love to see these strategies. It's always fun to see what people can come up with. Like faction mains like Dark Age, really specialized at a faction, can often, cook up some cool stuff. Just their familiarity with all the units across the board really allows some cool synergies. Cool. So here, Dragon-Blooded Lord and his Long Marauders getting a rear charge into the Graveguard. Graveguard are another unit that are very tough to kill. Granted, the grenades can do some okay work. Manfred's trapped up here. He better watch out. He could potentially get surrounded and killed if he's not careful. Granted, Cathay's killing power against Manfred. Not a lot of units that would just karate chop him. Grand Cathay does manage to stabilize its back objective. Caradoc going to be calling in more Black Knights here, but the Great Long Marauders and the Empress's Crowmen should be able to dispatch them. So they're going to be moving in and a grooving in, and it's going to be a big pit fight here, but overall Cathay is going to be favored until the Vargeist get here. The Vargeist, if they can get the Long Riders on the charge and not be the ones getting charged with their freaking 10 armor, they might be able to have a good time. Black Knights do have 80 armor and decent melee defense at 37, so yeah, maybe they're going to be able to hold. We'll see. Looking around, more cavalry coming in. I think Dark Age is feeling confident in his positioning, so he's going to do a triple cab push. It's going to be 12 capture weight heading towards his opponent's home objective. And in response, the Vargeist could come over and try and deal with them. We'll see what Caradoc is going to be calling out. Now, of course, Cathay is up in value pretty substantially. But the thing is that vampire counts have healing. So they have the Corpse Guards, they have the Invocations. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be healing right now that can neutralize that a bit. Sternsmen are in play too, and the 2 White Kings as well. So that's going to be very tricky. That's why I think Dark Age is going for the objectives. Maybe hedging his bets in case he starts to lose the long game here. If he can just get super far ahead of his opponent on points with a triple cap for a short period of time, then he's going to be able to just fall back in Helm's Deep on his back point. We'll have to see. Although I still think Cathay is going to be winning the fight overall. Long Riders getting up in the sky. Crowmen going to be coming in to help. Crowmen, an amazing unit. I think they are... If I had to think of the best unit on the Cathay roster, I think Crowmen would be it. Like, they are just such game changers. With Plague of Rust synergy, they're so good at killing armor, and without Plague of Rust, obviously, they're good against light things, shutting down artillery. They're like good enough quality that they can actually fight infantry too. An absolutely brutal unit, really. All right, so Nan-Gau Grenadiers throwing into the Corpse Cart, and the fire damage doing a little bit of work. Cannonball still shooting. The fact that a cannon's been online the whole game is pretty massive. Probably about 1,200, 1,300 value would be my guess. Still got it, baby. Still got it. 1282. That's not bad at all, but it is going to be nailing into those bad boys. And over here on Objective 3, Spearmen are arriving, looking pretty secure with the full health Jade Warrior. I just don't think Count Chocula and the Vampire Counts are going to be able to get the ground back in time. Even though Vampires are pulling value back, which is really good for them, it's being triple capped like this, having to get all this armor off the points. That's going to be a nice Purple Sun by Caradoc here. I do like that one. So that one is going to be nailing into the Jade Warriors right there. And ooh, beautiful Purple Sun. All right. Made me eat my words about roasting it as opposed to Winds of Death. It's good value. I mean, 1 Purple Sun for 500 value, it's not a terrible trade, especially when it's going to be potentially yielding you an objective. So Skeletons are only 2 capture weight since they're expendable infantry, so 2, 4, 6. Peasants are also only 2, so the very little capture weight here for Grand Cathay. But Grand Cathay does have a lot of units that can just tar pit and fight here, and as it currently stands, before the vampires do get their objectives back, it is going to be a triple cap. Now, the Dragon-Blooded Lord can get some good breath attacks here. Cryptors are on their way in. Caradoc is grinding this game back, and that's what I'm talking about, man. The vampire sustainability between the Invocations and the White Kings just being unkillable for Grand Cathay. I mean, again, you could use like a Celestial Lion or something, but it's very, very difficult. Nan-Gau Grenadiers coming in, and I think Dark Age knows it's going to be a back objective defensive situation, so this one is going to be yielded most likely. That Purple Sun just like breaking this objective open. And even the Spears are going to be retreating, or are they just forming ranks? Okay, they're forming ranks, so Vampires get that. Grand Cathay is just trolling with Cavalry here, which is smart. Just run away from these White Kings, encircle the objective, and hold it for as long as possible just to get that victory condition. Because, yeah, for sure, it's going to be an opportunity for Grand Cathay to win on just one. Cannonball shooting into the Vargheists, picking a couple of these bad boys off. Cannon is getting there in terms of value, probably about 1,500-1,600 right now. Vargheists sitting at 2,000 HP. Yeah, they're really good against Jade Lancers. Very, very good. Cathay, I think, knows it's going to be losing the flanks over here, so this one is going to be going into the trash, and now Cathay is just going to be hunkering down on his home objective, and it's going to be tough for Vampire Counts to get that, for sure. Considering the home field advantage, the durability, the harmony that can be built up to really get the value on these units, and these Cavalry are also going to be living to an extent, too. Some of the Jade Lancers coming back, and the Vampire army isn't, it's still pretty big, all things considered, but Cathay's army is very similar in size. Cannon still shooting, Vargheists getting low, Cryptors coming in. This objective still belongs to Cathay. They have not gotten it back yet, so all those double point kind of ticks there are still going. If you guys are newer to this game, the way it works is for every objective you have, you get one victory taken per second, and the first to get 1,500 wins the game. I mean, obviously the objectives often do win games, but sometimes the one player just karate chops the other one so hard. So this is a misplay by Caradoc, dropping the Purple Sun to the Peasants when there is a Jade Lancer unit nearby. Maybe he's more worried about the Spears against the Vargheists and the Cryptors, I'm not sure, but he's not removing as much capture weight. If you were to use that on a Jade Warrior, for example, that would be removing 5 capture weight as opposed to 2. But understandably, maybe he's worried about the Spears against all these big boys. Just trying to alpha strike the closest target. Undead coming in, Skeletons, Corpse Cart as well, but the Giga Chad Nan-Gau Grenadiers, and they don't seem to do as much damage as the Dwarven Blasting Charges, but even still, they've been effective against the Undead Chaff this game. Cannon still going strong, and yeah, just feasting up to 1,700 value right now. And now there's going to be a zombie summon, I believe, here from Manfredo. Just trying to get as much pressure on the objective as humanly possible. The waves of the undead are here, and will Cathay be able to hold this? I think so. They have a lot of leadership here. They have a lot of spears, a lot of harmony. There's a lot of things going very well for them. Granted, the 2 White Kings are going to be arriving soon, and the Vampire Counts do have a little bit of time. Yeah, currently it's going to be a little bit more than 100, about 2 minutes, give or take. So it's a long time to fight, I guess. Manfred, if Manfred does get one big Purple Sun too, I don't know about the Winds of Magic situation, but the Sword of Unholy Power is active right now, which means he's going to be getting a huge potential Purple Sun opportunity right here. And then maybe you could break them off the objective. We'll see. I don't think Manfred causes terror. Yeah, he causes fear. I feel like most vampires should probably just cause terror. It kind of makes sense. I'm trying to remember in tabletop what the rules were like. Obviously, this game is based on older editions, not Old World as much. I mean, it still obviously has a lot of similarities to Old World, but like somebody pointed out that some of the Slanesh stuff in the older editions was actually just immune to terror, whereas I'm referencing in current Old World where Mark of Slanesh gives immune to panic, so it's not the same as immune to terror. But yeah, kind of cool parallels there. But objective number 1 is being held firmly by the Dragon Emperor's Chosen. The Jade Lancers harmoniously fighting, Peasant Horsemen being sent in. And the Grenades are clearing out a lot of chaff units for sure. They're just kind of sitting back here, getting that volley fire. The 2 White Kings basically invulnerable. Heaven's Flash able to hit a lot. So really cool. The Nan-Gau Grenadiers able to debuff an entire blob. Look at that. Hits everything. That's pretty gangster. All right, I don't hate that. That is a very, very good value right there. The Grenades throwing into the Corpse Cart. Corpse Cart's getting melted. That's going to be a beautiful Purple Sun, but I think Homeboy is just running a little bit. He's out of touch and he's out of time, and it is looking bleak here. So Purple Sun, nice one. Does nail some of the Peasant Horsemen. Grenades getting in and melting down some of the Direwolves as well as the Crypt Ghouls who do arrive. Caradoc is all in on trying to get this point, but I think Cathay is going to be able to secure it for the Dragon Emperor, and here comes the Peasants, the backbone of Grand Cathay. These are the real working men here, and they get the job done as the Grenades able to melt these guys. Very, very good game. That was a super good one. Caradoc kind of got smashed in the beginning, but came back and was almost able to reverse sweep it, but not able to get enough momentum. I think Cathay is winning hard enough here that they could go take another objective. So GG, well played. Awesome game and really fun match by Caradoc as well as Dark Age Rush. I think that was a ladder game too. Cool to see. Always nice to see there's some good quality games being played on ladder. All right, folks, hopefully you enjoyed that one. Let's break down the value. Really good stuff. Grenades, 400, 400, 300, 700. Not terrible. They were just clearing out chaff, which is good because it exposes the bigger threats in the army. 2,000 value there. The Longwas were the Giga Chads, though. The Longwas definitely putting in the most work. Controlling the skies, chasing Manfred, killing Varguys, rear charging. They were super awesome. And for Caradoc, his Varguys did struggle, but one of them feasted. My God, 2,300. Cryptor is pretty good as usual. Manfredo, some good Purple Suns. All right, folks, hopefully you enjoyed that one. We'll see you around. Take care of yourselves, and the Dragon Emperor blesses you today. Cheers.